Have you ever said something in anger that you regretted the very next moment? We've all been there. Anger rises like fire. It burns hot, and before we know it, it consumes us. The Stoics, ancient philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, believed anger is one of the most destructive forces in life, not because it hurts others, but because it enslaves us. But here's the secret. The Stoics also discovered a method to control anger before it controls you. A rule so powerful that once you apply it, you'll never see your temper the same way again. In this video, we're going to explore the Stoic secret to mastering anger. You'll learn why the Stoics called anger a form of weakness, not strength, the ancient technique they used to calm themselves instantly, and how you can apply their wisdom to modern life, at work, online, and even at home. By the end, you'll see that anger isn't something to suppress or unleash. It's something to understand, transform, and master. Because the truth is, when you control your anger, you don't just control your emotions, you control your life. The first lesson from the Stoics is that anger is not power, it's slavery. Seneca wrote, "Anger, an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured." Think about that. When you're furious, who's really in control? You or the person who provoked you? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The Stoics saw anger as handing your freedom over to someone else. They believed true strength wasn't found in shouting louder or striking harder. It was found in staying calm when others lost control. So what's the secret? Epictetus gave us the answer. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. For the Stoics, anger wasn't caused by events themselves, but by our judgment of those events. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That's just an event. The anger doesn't come from the car, it comes from your belief that you've been disrespected or wronged. The Stoic secret is simple. Pause. Don't let your first reaction become your final action. Insert a moment of space between the event and your response. Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." That delay can be a breath, a silent count to 10, or simply walking away. In that space, you remind yourself, this is just an opinion, not a fact. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every day. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't be." Anger loses its grip when you realize no one can harm your character without your permission. And in that space, reason returns.
Seneca warned that nothing is more dangerous than acting in anger. That's why he advised, delay your response. He wrote, "The greatest cure for anger is time. Allow it to die down." Think about how many arguments would have ended differently if we just waited an hour before replying. How many regrets could be avoided if we didn't hit send in the heat of rage? The Stoics knew anger burns itself out quickly when not fed. By waiting, you rob it of its fuel. And in the silence that follows, clarity appears. The Stoics also taught us to zoom out. Marcus Aurelius would ask, will this matter in a day, a month, or a year? Most of the things that spark our anger, a rude comment, a traffic jam, someone cutting in line, vanish into irrelevance within hours. Anger magnifies the trivial. It tricks us into treating small things as catastrophes. But when you step back, you see the truth. In the grand scheme of your life, this moment is dust. Marcus wrote in his journal, "You will meet people who are selfish, arrogant, and rude. That is their nature. Why be angry at what is inevitable?" Perspective doesn't erase problems, but it shrinks them down to their actual size. And suddenly, the fire of anger no longer feels worth feeding. Another Stoic strategy comes from Epictetus, the reverse test. When someone insults you, ask yourself, is it true? If yes, thank them. You've just received a free lesson. If someone calls you careless, and it's true, you now know where to improve. If it's not true, why be offended? Their words don't describe you. They only reveal their own perspective. Seneca wrote, "Other people's opinions are not your concern. If they are wrong, it does not harm you. If they are right, improve yourself." This transforms insults from wounds into tools. Every criticism becomes either fuel for growth or meaningless noise. Instead of being controlled by anger, you gain control by turning every attack into an opportunity. That's the power of the reverse test.
The Stoics also used humor to disarm anger. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." When insulted, they often agreed with the criticism or even exaggerated it. If someone called them strange, they'd laugh and reply, "Better strange than dull." By owning the insult, they took away its sting, because anger feeds on resistance. But when you embrace the words, there's nothing left to fight. This isn't weakness, it's power. It shows that no one can define you but yourself. Seneca told us, "A great mind is above insults. It is indifferent to praise or blame." When you own your flaws and laugh at insults, you become untouchable. You turn anger into freedom. Seneca wrote an entire essay called On Anger. His conclusion was clear. Anger always costs more than it gives. It clouds judgment. It damages relationships. It consumes peace of mind. Modern science confirms what the Stoics knew. Anger harms your body. It raises blood pressure, weakens the heart, and shortens life. The Stoics asked, what do you really gain from anger? A few moments of release, followed by regret. A temporary illusion of power, followed by lasting weakness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" The cost of anger is always greater than the satisfaction of expressing it. That's why the Stoics treated anger not as a fuel to unleash, but as poison to master. The Stoics didn't believe in suppressing anger. They believed in transforming it. Anger is energy. Left uncontrolled, it destroys. But guided, it becomes discipline. Marcus Aurelius, leading Rome through war and plague, didn't deny frustration. Instead, he turned it into patience, persistence, and resolve. The Stoic approach is to redirect the fire. Instead of burning relationships, use it to strengthen self-control. Instead of lashing out, use it to act justly. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery doesn't mean never feeling anger. It means feeling it, but choosing how to use it. Like fire in a hearth, anger, under control, gives warmth and strength. But uncontrolled, it burns the house down. So how can you apply Stoic wisdom today? On social media, don't take the bait. Online insults are just words from strangers who don't know you. At work, when colleagues criticize you unfairly, pause before reacting. Check if it's true. If not, let it go. At home, when family pushes your buttons, remember perspective. Will this matter in a year? The Stoic way is not to suppress emotions, but to train them, to pause, reason, and respond with clarity instead of rage. The Stoics gave us a timeless secret. Anger is optional. You can't control what people say or do, but you can control whether you let their words enslave you. The Stoic rule is simple. Pause, delay, test, and transform. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius weren't immune to insults or frustrations, but they mastered themselves.
and that mastery made them free. Remember this: no man is free who is not master of himself. When you master your anger, you don't just gain peace, you gain power, the kind no one can take away.